What can we as coaches do in the game when this is occurring?
My 2 cents would be run the things that you are good at and the things you practice the most. Don't try something weird or try to install something at halftime. I've seen that go really bad. Just do what you know your kids do. Just do what your kids do the best, and you can live with the result going forward as long as you're doing something they practice a lot and they're good at. Don't try to do something different because it'll only get worse from there.
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, I totally agree. You've really got to go back to what I call your base offense and base
Mhm.
defense. What you as a core do the best. Just
Mhm.
try to stay as much base as possible, right?
Amen. Yeah.
And if you see a key or a little adjustment, make that, but you've got to know what it is. Don't just be
You're doing it because 'cause you're frustrated, and that's a bad thing. Don't do that.
all take a really deep breath. Let's count to 3. So, basically try to get them to start over and give them hope that it is there is an opportunity to come back.
Absolutely. Yes. If there's time on the clock, we got a shot.
But if they hear you looking at another coach and saying, "We're done," yeah, that's not gonna work
No, it's not. Not at all.
because
Just
they
stay
will hear it.
positive and keep going. Oh, yeah, for sure they'll hear it. Absolutely, they will.
Yeah, someone's gonna hear it. Um, yeah, I think, you're right on the do base, do what you do best. If it's not going your way that day, then get out of it the best you can. And then there's going to be probably a playoff game where you can get some revenge and
Mhm.
be prepared.
Absolutely. So this is gonna be a fun one today.
Yeah, Zach, it should be. We're on the weekend, so I think I'm all fresh. I'm not tired from the workday. And you're
Yeah,
not
me
in
too.
your principal attire.
I'm not. I'm in my house, and I got one of those, Riverside backgrounds rocking,
Yeah, I
and
love the purple cassette tape there.
yeah, yeah, this one right here, yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild stuff. I'm just my window over here, we live out in farm country here on the Eastern Shore, Maryland, and it's a beautiful day to do a podcast with you, coach.
Great, great. Yeah, I was just watching the Lions game. I was hoping they'd do a little bit better. They're my team this year since the Cowboys suck. I've gone with the Lions since Dan is an Aggie and ex-Cowboy. I think it works out great.
Absolutely. So the Cowboys usually are your team, that's what you're telling me?
Yes, well, I was born here in Fort Worth, and been here a long time. So that yeah, I grew up with Staubach, so I'm old school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
when it was real
what so
Cowboys.
are you a Tom Landry guy too? Is
Oh
that your
yeah,
thing?
huge Tom.
Okay.
That's how I like to coach. I'm a huge IQ, Tom Landry, number data set kind of stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm goofy like that. So yeah, he's my dude.
Did you wear a shirt and tie when you coached at youth league
No,
or when
no,
you coach youth league?
no, I have not done that, but I do know a couple of guys that have gone crazy like that. But no, I did not
Man.
do that. We do like to get matching shirts. I mean, we'll go that far. So
Mhm.
polos, but yeah, I didn't do the fedora or the tie thing.
Mm.
All that would have been fun on like a Halloween game, I think.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I've coached against guys who did the shirt and tie, and I think, I don't know if I could do that. I'm more of like a polo or a t-shirt or a quarter zip, but
Yeah,
maybe for a special occasion.
yeah, I'm hot natured, so a tie and suit in Texas for
Mhm.
me, I would have been dead by the first quarter and 101 degrees. So yeah, I had to make a business decision on that I wasn't going to pass out.
So, here's a question, does it ever cool off in Texas in the fall? Is that something that does it get cool enough to wear like a hoodie or whatnot in the fall when you're playing?
We may get lucky in October, late October. Halloween seems to be kind of
Mhm.
cold, and then November, December it'll get cold, but it's not. There's no big season changes. No, I mean, I
Mhm.
coached in Colorado for about 6 years, and it was awesome. You had seasons, and it was
Mhm.
cold, and get to 0 every now and then, so, but, yeah, here in Dallas, and I grew up in Houston too, yeah, it doesn't get that cold.
Houston seems like it's hot all the time.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
just
much
see these
70 and above and humid all the time. I remember in high school, we'd pray that it would rain because it was so hot
Mhm.
and humid, so, yeah.
So when you were going to practice, you were looking at the clouds. Like, hey,
Oh,
tell
yeah,
me
there was a
it's not going
huge
to
at the
tell me
end
it's
of
going to
our
thunderstorm.
hall, there was this huge window that pointed south to the coast, and so, like, rain would come in from the coast, and so all the guys were all sitting at the
Yeah,
window
yeah.
at, like, 4th or 5th period, like, "Oh, the clouds are coming. Oh my god, great. We're in the gym. We're not gonna get killed." Yeah, I
That's
wouldn't eat
awesome.
lunch. Like, anything mustard, you get out there in the heat, it's up. So I would,
Mhm,
you know, they tell
mhm.
people not to do that now, but I couldn't hold anything down if I ate, it was too hot.
Yeah, I remember playing high school football in Florida, and for spring football early in the season, it had to be a light lunch. You were gonna feel sick
Oh, man, and
because
2 a day
it's so
sucked.
hot.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. I don't know how I did it, as a young I mean, you were young we were young, so we were
Mhm,
able to handle
mhm.
it, but I don't know how you do it now, so, yeah.
That seems like I mean, I didn't play that long ago. I guess I am getting old, but that seems like such a bygone era. 2 a days, 3 a days. That's just not something that's really done anymore.
Yeah, I started playing Pee Wee Travel when I was in '72 when I was, 7, 8, and then played middle school through high school in Houston.
Mm,
All my yeah, Pee Wee through high school was in Houston, and it's hot here in Dallas, but that humidity is killer.
mhm. I can only imagine.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
oh my god, it was terrible, so, yeah.
Mm. So, segue into our topic today, coach, which I love. So go ahead and talk about it, and then we'll roll from it like from there, like we do.
Yeah, John O from my forum over on Facebook, coaching youth football with Coach Parker and the guys. It's a private kind of youth football coaches forum, and I asked in there because we upped our day from Tuesday to Sunday, and
Mm.
we had a
Mhm.
crazy parent topic, but I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of that still. But I asked, what would be a good topic for us today, and got several great responses. And John's was the first, and so he said how to get a game back under control when your team starts off good, then basically takes a nosedive and then it starts to
Mhm.
snowball.
That's a
And
really good question. That really is a really good
yeah, and
question.
I've been there. And
Mhm.
it's a great question. It's yeah, and it's a tough question, and it's funny. My wife, as it came over, I read it out loud, and she goes, "Oh yeah, it's the how and the why." Because I was like, I think that's a tough question, and I guess being a coach's wife, she's picked some things up, and she's smarter than
Uh-huh.
me anyway, so I think that's where a good place to start, kind of how and why did that game get out of control
Mm.
is a good question. What do you think? Is that where we should start?
Yeah, I think so. I think in all the notes you sent me are great. I love free shout out to Google Drive, Google Notes, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not that they need it, but
Any shout
I
out,
think
yeah,
that
exactly.
for me, I think of just there's a number of reasons why. We'll get into them, but the thing that comes to me is like turnovers and injuries. So, like,
Yes.
did you turn the ball over and then did the wrong guys get hurt? And then
Yeah.
we were up and then now we're not because those two things happen. What about yourself?
Yeah, those I think are the top couple. The turnover thing, that's a huge deal in any game. And then the injuries, or did their top player have a baseball game and he showed up in the second half? I've had that
Uh-huh.
happen where you thought,
Uh-huh. Oh,
"Oh,
wow.
this is simple. We're
Oh
going
my
really good."
gosh.
And then their stud shows up like,
Jeez.
"Uh-oh,
Right.
we
Uh-oh.
were
Oops.
we were playing the second stringers." Yeah, so that kind of stuff will happen. Or the weather. You know, like in
Ah,
horse
okay.
racing, you may get a mutter. I don't know if you've done horse racing before, but like on a clear day, the regular horses are doing great. But on like a rainy day, or it's just rained and it's muddy, the track is muddy. You'll get a horse that can really play well in the mud,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so you may face a team that is really good because they're a power team in rain or inclement weather, and your team may not be that good because you're more of a spready passing team, or maybe more handoffs and things that are happening. And so there's things like that that definitely can occur there. But I think yeah, injuries, weather, and turnovers are probably the top three.
And shoot, I've had it go the other way. We ended up winning this game, but the other team's best player didn't play, and we thought maybe he wasn't going to play, or we thought maybe he wouldn't, maybe he would. We heard he got ejected, and then when he didn't dress to play, I think our level of concentration dropped a little bit because he was like an all conference really good player, and we started the
Right.
game kind of slow, and then we never really caught up. We won at the end, but man, they almost played better without that guy. Like they kind of bonded together, and they had another couple good players, and they played better than they had previously.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that sometimes will happen? They gel better as a team without the
Hmm.
stud. Because
Hmm.
that I've had that happen to us. Uh, let's see, it was the TCU Frogs team about 10 years ago. Their stud quarterback went out and they went to like a single wing wildcat. And thank
Hmm.
God we were ahead by 3 touchdowns because they almost caught us after in the second half because their stud
Right,
quarterback went down.
because you didn't prepare for that. That wasn't something you prepared for.
No, no, and they weren't that, and they were a better. This is what's crazy. They were a better team doing that, but when he got healthy the next week, they put him back in as the quarterback instead of doing what they were. And I told, it's funny what
Okay.
coaches will do. I told the guy I coached with for like 15 years, I'm like, man, I think he's messed up on that deal because they're better as a wildcat offense
Hmm.
than trying to
I have
put a quarterback in advantage.
a funny story about a similar situation. This was 2017, and we were playing Morgantown High School, and Dana Holgerson's son was the quarterback. Well, he had transferred before the season started to somewhere else. I think it was a school in Maryland. I think it was St. Francis in Maryland. Then he came back during the season, and they were running the single wing as their offense and doing really well. Then he came back, and they changed into more of a pro style system, and I think it actually hurt them. Like, they were much more difficult to deal with in the single wing. We ended up beating them in overtime, and I always think if they just would have stayed with the single wing, they
Yeah,
probably would have beat us.
yeah, it's so funny. I've had a few coaches. I've done an article on, and this is one of the topics we can do in the future is like why teams keep losing or why did they lose? And one of
Okay.
them is either daddy ball at a quarterback position kind of thing, which is similar, or
Mhm,
you've promised a player a certain spot and you're trying to play him, but you're not really running what you need to be
mhm,
because you're accommodating
mm,
this one player. And that gets in the way of what has to happen for the team. I've
mhm.
seen so many teams do that. So getting off on a tangent there, but that happens there. But let me talk about. I
Yeah,
wrote
let's
down
do it.
there's three times that this has kind of happened to me where I let it get out of control, and I'm
Mm,
going to be honest and put myself out there on these. And so every coach has these, but mine as well. So I play in a top team. Coach Allen in KYA and Keller here, and we were up, I think, 3 touchdowns in the first half. Second half, his back decided to wake up, or he either came in from baseball. I don't know, but we
one
were,
of those. Yeah, one
yeah,
of
it was
those.
a shutout. It was like 20. It was like 20-0. We were handily in control. Uh, I was happy. I don't think we made any adjustments at halftime because we were all giddy with happiness that this is going to go our way. He
Mhm,
makes some great adjustments in the second half, and he's doing a motion kind of jet thing into the A gap. And for whatever reason, my I was blitzing the A gap out of a split 60. I had guys going in there, and he scored one. Okay. He scored two, and I was blitzing, and I'm just like, well, I've got four people in there. I can't, but my ego did not let me adjust to it. I thought I
mm,
had enough people in there. I didn't need to make the adjustment, and I would say you know, for me, I know, yeah, my ego just got in the way that day. It really
Mhm,
did. I'm like, I'm going down with the ship, and it was my fault as a coach. It wasn't the team on that one. I just decided my players should be doing better instead of helping them out make that adjustment. So
mhm.
I ate that one. I ate that
I have a similar story. We were up 17 to nothing versus our rival in 2000. Was that 2023? Yeah, 2023. And we just run the ball up and down the field. I mean, they could not stop. They could not stop it. And then we came out the second half. I didn't throw play action early enough. And then I was going to, and like we had a couple more wrinkles our offense we were going to use.
one. Right.
And then our number one fullback went out with an injury, and our best wide receiver went out with an injury. And I thought to myself, I should have thrown the play action earlier. I was hesitant to. We were up 3 scores. They ended up coming back and winning like at the end. The other team did, and I just thought to myself, man, I should have taken advantage earlier of the guys I had. I mean, I didn't know they're going to get hurt, but I should have done that earlier to expand the lead potentially. Uh, so yeah, I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of my points in here is that sometimes, like I was giddy at halftime and didn't make adjustments. You're kind of doing that when your guys, is that you didn't finish them off when you had the opportunity.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
you
Yes.
right. It's like, you're kind of coasting, and you see a lot of NFL teams do it with like prevent defenses, and you'll watch this stuff happen.
Hmm.
But it's really just going for the juggler when you have it and not letting it up.
Right. And I didn't. I just like, oh, we'll just play more conservative. And
Yeah.
man, that was not the right choice.
Yeah, I've gotten in trouble that way. So we've got ego, and we didn't go to the juggler when we had to or should have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
And
you think you don't need to, but like you said, you never know.
yeah, you don't know when injuries will hit, and you just got to
Or
take
there's a
advantage of it
turnover. Yeah, there's a
sooner.
momentum change there. Another one that I had, and we should have known because we scouted this Coach Fontana and his son. His son was one of these players that was on another team that should have been playing quarterback, but another guy had been promised. So that team didn't get
Uh,
to the Super Bowl. So this guy, dad, came in, formed his own team in the league, and his son was like Tom Brady. And his best friend was like Gronkowski. But
Jeez.
and they ran through the league, and I should have known, but we thought we prepared. I think we over prepared for the team. They were smoking us. Nothing was going well. We kind of held them. I guess it's not. We didn't really start off good. We kind of started off mediocre, but it got worse. It just it
Right.
just got worse. I mean, it just got continuously worse. So I think there's that. We tried to make in-game adjustments, but what happened, and sometimes I think you just have to, it just wasn't going to go our way that day.
Mhm.
You can make some
Mhm.
adjustments. They got so lucky. They had two tipped balls in the end zone that we tipped up that they caught for touchdowns. And one
Mhm.
of them was like a triple tip. So when
Oh
that
my
happened,
gosh,
I was like,
jeez.
okay, we've adjusted. We've tried to make some, and so we just said, you know what? This is where we're at. We're going to get them the next time and be a little bit more prepared. But I think there's sometimes a little luck, and this isn't your day. What do you think about that?
Yeah. No, I think that's it. I think it's football's a funny game, and sometimes it is your day and things just go your way, and sometimes, like you said, it's just not. Like,
Yeah,
the
that is,
bounces aren't going your way, the calls aren't going your way, and it's, "Oh, well, we'll probably keep the same game plan, but we just need to execute it better and hope that the the unlucky things don't go against us."
yeah. I had a free safety blitz onto their best receiver, and this is how bad it was. He tackled our cornerback, instead of the receiver when he caught the screen.
Oh my gosh.
I
Jeez.
was like,
Oh my
okay, and
goodness.
everything has gone downhill. So yeah, I think sometimes, yeah, it just went that way.
Mm,
And then I had another one where we beat this team, Highlands Ranch in Colorado. We beat them like 42-7 in our regular season game. Just
mhm,
totally did everything right. And then they came in the playoffs and we were flat and they beat us 21-7. And I remember asking the kids what happened after that game. And they said, well, we beat them so handily in the first game, we thought it was going to be an easy game and we were caught off guard.
mm,
So
mhm.
I think that's one thing that, any given Sunday, any
Yeah.
given
Yeah.
Sunday, you can't think that a team that you've beat handily is going to come in and lay an egg for you just because you beat them handily the last game. And I've beat an
Mhm,
undefeated
mhm,
team when I was 0-4. So you just never know. So you always have to be prepared, even though anything can happen, right? I mean, you can't
mhm,
think this is going to be an easy game.
mhm. I would even say too, like from one year to the next. Let's say you beat a team really bad,
Oh yeah,
or you just beat them. Maybe not bad, but you beat them. And then the next year, the guys that are returning are saying, "Oh, we got them," and you have to fight against that as a coach. Like, no, whoa, whoa. Like, new year, new team. We can't go in there overconfident, and we've done that a couple times, and we lost. And it's an interesting conversation after with the players because, hey, man, just because we beat them last year doesn't mean we're going to beat them this year. That's a good team. They're well coached. We have to take it one year at a time, one game at a time.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really hard to get the guys up. I mean, we've had players at the first of the season where they haven't woken up yet, and I'm thinking about this one back, Kyle. First
Mm.
3 games, he was kinda average as a tailback, really, wasn't what we thought he was gonna be. 4th game, kid wakes up, he's like Eric Dickerson. He's at a
Yeah,
D2
baby. Let's
school. Yeah,
go.
he's at a D2 school now. He's my best defensive end, outside linebacker that I've ever coached. And then everybody's like, "Oh my god, where did this team come from?"
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
know, where did this come from? And so I think there's, that goes on. And so as a youth team, you
Mhm.
really have to be prepared. And that was one of the things that I had written down here is anytime something goes bad and that you're not adjusting, it's a lot of times not the kids or players' faults, but you may not have been prepared and done enough to make
Mm.
your adjustments. I know that I put myself in that, like it's usually me or the
Mhm.
staff has not corrected. It's really not the team. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's so true. And I have a coaching friend who he had a situation where they played a team, they beat the team really bad. And the coach after the game, the other team's coach was running his team. Like they had gotten beat really bad by my friend's team.
After the team, he's running them?
Yeah, after the game, yeah, they were
Oh,
getting ran, and my buddy, Coach Roger Van de Zand, the head coach of the team he was coaching for, looked at him and said, "There's nothing wrong with those players,"
yeah,
insinuating they weren't prepared well. And as a coach, that's the worst feeling ever, isn't it? Like, I thought
yeah,
we were ready, then we play the game, and it's quick. It's very apparent early on in the game we aren't ready to go, and
yeah,
you have to reflect. Like, why are we not ready? Because we were ready last week or the week before. Why are we not ready this week? And but I think that's humbling. And it's good for us as coaches to experience that from time to time.
yeah. No, it really is to put us in place. I mean, and one of the things that when I first sent you the notes over today, I was sitting watching the game, and I think it comes to did you prepare in your scouting to really understand
Hmm.
everything about the team?
Mhm.
their weaknesses, their strengths. Uh, and what came up is some teams are second half teams. They're
Yeah, for
better.
sure.
They're
Absolutely.
better in the second half. They don't wake up in the first quarter, maybe the last of the second quarter. So maybe you would have seen that in your scouting that for whatever reason they're a comeback team. They don't mind
Mhm.
being down. They can easily come back. And then along those lines, in that scouting piece of being prepared, is based on how your MPP rules are. They could have been playing MPP in the first half
Mhm. Mhm.
and not had to play because your league doesn't mandate they have to play in the second half. That they basically put in their gold team in the second half and
Right.
went right
Right.
through. And you should have found that out maybe in the scouting report.
Mhm. What is your MPP philosophy? I've heard different guys talk about this. What is yours? What do you like to do?
Oh man, you're gonna catch me on this one. I'm
Oh,
I'm I'm old. And I played select travel as a peewee, so I'm a little bit more uh and let me preface, I'm coaching in Texas.
sure. Of
And
course. Of course.
parents
Yeah.
here do not like to lose. I don't
Of
care.
course. We all get it. We want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, but if you're just coaching and you're here in Texas and you're not coaching to competitively win,
Mhm.
you are going to get a lot of flack. So what
Right.
we
Right.
it's bad. It really is. So we try to make sure whatever the league rules are, we're going to follow them totally. I mean, they're everybody's getting their plays, and I will say if they're not big games, they're probably starting and getting a lot more plays, and we're going to try to get those guys in a lot of plays in those
Mhm.
games we know we can handle teams in, and so we're going to try to do that. In most games, we try to let the majority MPP guys start, so they have a
Mhm.
starting position and they
I
can say
like
they
that.
start. And then we'll try to get them in like end of second quarter, first of third quarter. Once we get they start a couple of plays, and then we get a majority of their plays then in the late second, early third. That way we can try to win that first half, you know, and then
Mhm.
definitely win the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the strategy there. But I will say we practice hard and we make sure everybody in practice is getting reps because that's where
Mhm.
you learn. And I think a lot of teams will just kind of throw their MPP players over and not focus on getting them developed. But we're big on, you're only as good as your weakest link. And so in practice, we're trying to get those weaker players developed so then they can actually help us in the games.
Mhm.
And so we're hoping that every player on our team is no longer at MPP by the end of the season.
Oh, I like that. That's really good.
Yeah, and that's really what everybody should be trying to do. Now look, are there kids their parents have dumped them into the system so
Mhm.
they get manned up? Yeah. And those players are tough. I mean, that is a
Mhm.
tough situation.
Mhm.
But even
It's
still,
yeah.
like we take pride on extra points throwing to those guys as wide receivers.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Okay.
we've gotten a lot of 2-point plays out, and that makes their whole season.
Mhm.
If you can get them a 2-point or an extra point play, and we actually try to force that to make that happen so everybody gets something.
That's so good. My philosophy of rec league has changed, or travel league, whatever you're playing. My daughter last year, God bless her soul, she played on a field hockey team that did not win a game
Oh
all
goodness.
the whole season, and were getting crushed. And I used to be like, "Oh, let's just go play and develop and have fun." And after last year, I thought to myself, "No, no, 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 no." Like, so she's on a good volleyball team this fall. And what a difference that makes. I mean, yes, you wanna have fun, but winning, like you say, coach, is definitely
It's
funner.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you it pays to be competitive and to win. That gives your kids a lot better experience than, "Hey, let's just go out here and run around." No. No, thanks. No, thank you.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, I mean, we took a developmental team one season
Mhm,
uh, into a division, and we picked all the young kids and thought we were going to develop them for a travel team, and
mhm.
we lost all but 2 games out of 9, and none of the parents wanted to go to select travel because they thought we were crappy coaches.
Oh my
But
gosh.
we
Yeah,
were,
yeah, that's
yeah, because we purposely picked those younger, inexperienced
right, yeah.
kids so we could move them and they would get a season of real experience, but that did not work out. So, yeah, that wasn't my strategy to do, I will say that.
Right, right.
It was the leagues,
Mhm,
yeah, that was a long season, but the kids did get a lot of great reps, I will say that, and, it's too bad we didn't take some of them up, but yeah, I think
mhm.
a lot of coaches are like, "Yeah, you've got a real no, winning is not a big deal, and you should." Yeah, yeah, yeah. At the end
It's
of the
not
day,
true.
man,
That's not
that's not
true.
true. It
That's not
isn't.
true.
And I'll give you a reason why I know that's not true. So, in between my Denver Arvada, Pirate team tackle football seasons, we would do flag football. And there was one game, we were handily winning in the first half, and I said, "Okay, second half, all the linemen, they're gonna run the ball and be receivers. The
Mhm,
backs are gonna play O-line, and we're gonna have fun, and we're just gonna say we won the game because we've won the first half, and we'll go through that." We lost that game,
oh
and
my goodness.
every one of those guys, including the linemen who were getting to play running back for that particular second half, said, "We're never doing that again. We don't wanna lose a game." And
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
9. They were like,
Right, they
"Never
get it.
again."
Yep, they understand.
Yeah, they got it. I mean, it was like they wanna win, so, I think it's a cool philosophy if that's what you wanna do, but I think at the end of the day, you've gotta look at your parent group, what the league is doing, and if you're kind of in this competitive league and competitive parent group, yeah, I think you have to decide winning is funner.
Mhm. Oh, way funner. No doubt, way funner. The car rides home this year are much better
Yeah, oh my
for my
god, yeah.
daughter. Much
Oh my
better.
god. Yeah, yeah. So let's talk if the game, yeah. So let's say I'm just gonna pretend, and I can go through some of these, that
Mhm,
you're up by 2 touchdowns, at the first of the second half
mhm,
or into the first half. And, your team decides in the first of the third quarter, let's say that team comes out and scores in 3 plays. But you're
mhm,
still up 14, let's say 14-6.
mhm.
What I see a lot of times is when a team gets scored, this is in youth, of course. When a team gets scored on, even though they're ahead, it feels like they're starting to lose.
Oh, same thing in high school. Same
And
thing.
their
That
brain,
does
yeah,
not change.
isn't that weird? Yeah,
Mhm,
I'm like, "You guys are still
mhm,
up, 8 points. What's going on?"
mhm,
And their brain just starts to turn in like, "Oh, we're gonna lose now because
mhm,
they scored so fast." And I'm like, "No, you can't think that way."
mhm.
So you're seeing that in high school too.
Oh, same thing, and as a coach, a lesson that I learned from that 17 we were up 17 nothing and the other team came back and won, is just be aggressive all the time. And doesn't
Yes,
mean you're throwing the ball deep every play, but be aggressive in your play calling, like you're trying to go score rather than you're trying to milk the clock and protect a lead.
right,
And yeah, that stuck with me ever since that. Like last year, I called plays way differently because I was aggressive. Let's go try to score because that'll take now the game will take care of itself. You keep scoring, like you're going to win.
right.
So yeah, big difference from 2023 to 2024.
Yeah, and then, like we said earlier, sometimes, you'll call a timeout and you'll go over there and maybe they're getting close to scoring again, and some of them will look at you like, "We thought this was gonna be an easy game."
Right. Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, "Well, what made you think that? We talked about this at practice. Any given Sunday, we
Mhm.
beat them before in the regular season. They're out for blood and revenge. Why would you think they're gonna roll over?" So you really gotta get those kids in that huddle, like, snapped out of that. "Look, you
Mhm.
gotta start playing like you did in the first half."
Yeah, and it's hard to get kids out of that sometimes, right? To get them to let's focus back in. But again, sometimes it does happen. You get back in control of the game. But yeah, that's a constant fight. Even I would even imagine like the collegiate level, NFL level as well. Just trying to get your guys to lock in once they have a big lead and the other team starts coming back.
Yeah, yeah, that's kinda thing. I think as a staff, you have to look, okay, we talked about earlier, were you scouting or were you prepared for what they've done? Or, did you turn the ball over or did they have some lucky 80-yard run that's given them, a touchdown? Because those are few and far between. But,
Mhm.
what has happened for this to come back so you can logically talk to your players that, look, they got lucky on an 80-yard blitz and we didn't catch it, or they
Right.
triple tipped something, but you're still in the game if it's tied. And
Hmm.
even
Yeah.
with 3 minutes to go, this is one crazy thing, and you're only a touchdown behind, say you're only 6 points back, you can still win this game. A lot of kids don't see that.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you've gotta, in some way, be able to convince your players that that occurs, and one of the things I wrote down here is, it's really good for teams to have gone through that process,
Oh yeah, no
where they've
doubt.
been up, they went down, and then they came back. Because
Hmm.
they know that that can occur versus this unknown they've never been through yet,
Hmm.
and so you almost have to get through it to teach them that experience.
Hmm. Yeah, we would do things in practice to manufacture adversity.
That's
So
great.
put your team in a adverse situation. So I mean, obviously, you don't have to even turn the scoreboard on. It's just, hey, here's the situation. Here's the parameters of situational football.
Right,
Here's what we have to do. And you'll hear guys say, "Oh, that's hard," or "Oh, coach, that's impossible," or whatnot. But you're preparing them for a situation like you were talking about, where we have to go do this to try to win the game, and they can't say they haven't. We can't say we haven't been there before.
right.
And yeah, just try and prepare them in practice for everything they could possibly see.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good. I think the other thing that you have to, as you're watching the game, you're coaching the game. One of the things is we try to have a spotter for us on offense
Mhm.
and both defense. Is what in-game adjustments are you seeing that you need to make?
Yeah.
Have they
Yes.
overloaded the offensive line? Have they moved a blocker somewhere? And is this why you're now getting smoked? You've got to
Mhm.
quickly figure that out. We had this crackback thing going on in us in a Super Bowl, and we finally figured it out. Before that, they were running all over us. And I think that's a thing that as a coaching staff, you've got to figure out what weakness they found, because they found something. If they keep driving on you, they have found something.
Yes. Yes, they have.
And don't do like me where I was ego and said, I'm not going to move because I've got enough players there.
Man, that's so good. I think in-game adjustments is the true art of coaching.
It really is.
Mhm.
And there are some, I don't have I have some natural talent about that, but I've coached with a couple of guys that are just, it's like this weird thing. Some people always know where the ball is as a linebacker. I was one of those, this natural kind of gift.
Mhm.
But there are some gifted guys that can pick things up really quick. There was a guy on our Razorback team named Jay. That coach could see stuff real fast, and I was so jealous of how quickly I'd see it a couple of plays later, but he was able to nail it fast, and that is a unique talent to have on your staff.
Mhm. It really is, and the I think what helps with that these days is the ability to watch, like, the previous series on your iPad,
Yeah.
because now it's, "Oh, here's what they're giving us." Let's say they came out with something you did not expect at all, and it throws you for a loop, but then, "Oh, okay, here's what we can do now." So, yes, it's an art, but there's more science, air quotes, behind it now because at least at the high school level, you can watch the previous series
Yeah, and you
and
gotta
know
check your
what's
yeah,
happening.
yeah, that's great at the high school. You gotta check your youth leagues, so, like, some of us, we can't film and use the film
Mhm,
on the sideline, during games, so if your league allows that, definitely be doing that because that's a huge thing.
mhm.
Because I like to have a guy that's writing down things next to me, who made the tackle, how many
Ah,
yards did
okay, I
we
like that.
get, what the hole was kinda thing, so if you don't have that, maybe have that so you can see what's going on in game to make those particular adjustments there because I know that's a lot of times sneaky coaches will watch where you put your MPP guys and run over your weaker players as
Yes,
you
and
as you sub.
I was talking to the coaching staff that I help with, just a couple days a week, and that's what the team last week did. They
Yeah,
saw where the MPP guy was and went, "Oh, we're going there," and it
yeah,
it worked for him. Yeah.
it will, and some sneaky coaches will do it. It's kind of like, is it fair? Well, yeah, it's fair, but yeah. So be careful of that.
Mhm,
Um, I think one of the things that's helped us finish games, because I think this is where this thing comes, is your players want to finish and go for the throat
mhm.
immediately. Is when I coach the defensive side of ball, we do ice cream parties, sandwich parties for shutouts.
Yes, sir.
And the referees will come to me in the fourth quarter and they're like, why are all these guys talking about ice cream sandwiches? And I'm like,
Right, right.
because if we get a shutout, we have an ice cream party and they just love it. But that's how we have gotten, especially me on the defensive side, where I know my defense will want to finish that game and they're doing everything they can to have that ice cream party. And I'm happy to spend the $12 on 24 ice cream
Right,
sandwiches
of course.
to motivate them. So you got to ask yourself, how have you motivated them to last through the fourth quarter that they will give you they'll run through the wall?
Mhm,
What is that piece?
mhm.
Just because I'm getting a lot of questions like, "Oh, my team gives up in the first half," or "My team will give up." Well, what motivation have you given them to go all the way to the fourth quarter? What is that?
See, that works at the high school level too. We last year, our defensive coordinator would buy chicken for the defense,
That's awesome.
and it happened twice, and the second time, he was trying to sub guys so they would score because he's like, "Man, that was a
That's
decent chunk of
expensive.
money," but they didn't score, so he still bought it for him. Oh, man, I was rolling laughing on the sidelines, but it's like you said, it's a motivator. What motivates your team to finish ball games? Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we give out a ton of stickers. Stickers used to be cheap. I spent a lot of money on ice cream and stickers, but I think that's one of the things. I think the other thing about the fourth quarter is how intense is your practice? I
Right,
mean,
yeah,
your practice should be harder than a game.
absolutely.
So they're not seeing too much any two new things. And so, and it should be happening at a fast pace. We hide wind sprints and fun conditioning drills. We're doing sprints, but they don't really know that they're doing them. And we're
Right.
we're setting up multiple stations. So I think that's one thing is are your kids in the third quarter just tired and are they not used to the adversity yet? And have you
Mhm,
challenged them at your practices?
mhm.
Which gets
I
back
think
to your
you're spot on.
situational thing.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, practice should be harder than the game, and you gotta prepare your guys to face the adversity and to be ready to finish the game in the 4th quarter.
Right. I think that's the biggest thing. And then the other thing I think and we talked about it was, weather. It was the
Mhm.
first half sunny and you could do
Right,
whatever you wanted to
right.
do. The second half it's raining and you're snapping shotgun, and now you've lost 2 turnovers to shotgun snaps that are bad, and
Mhm.
you didn't make the adjustment maybe to go under center or go
Mhm.
to a more pistol short snap, so you're there, or put a better guy with hands that can catch a wet ball, or did you put some dry hand perspirant on their hands? I mean, there's a lot of things. Did you adjust for that inclement weather in that second half to be able to deal with that? I
Mhm.
know a lot of coaches will die on that shotgun snap thing.
Oh, under center is the most pure form of football. I will die on that hill. Under center is the most pure form of football, offensive football. That's my 2 cents, but that's what I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I love to shotgun snap when I can, and I have a great center, but yeah, I am not gonna turn, a ball over on an exchange for a shotgun snap. So if it's just inconsistent, we always can go under center at any time. That's the reason almost all of my formations in my playbooks, I have a shotgun and under center
Mhm.
adjustment for that,
Mhm.
just in case, especially at
Oh,
youth
got to.
football. So it's this is an interesting question. So and you played center too. At the high school and college level, and it's inclement weather and the shotgun snaps aren't going properly. Do they know? Are you just still forced to do that, or do you make an adjustment under center, or what have you seen that these guys do at those levels versus youth?
I think it just depends on what they do. Like if they're a gun team, that's all they do, then usually they're okay because they do it
They're
enough to
used to
where
it,
even if it's wet, yeah, they're used to it. If it's raining, that's what you see. Now, if a team does both and they're not as good at one or the other, and it's raining and they're trying to do the one they're not as good at, that can become a problem. But most teams just go to their bread and butter. Like if it's bad weather, they're going to do what they do most of the time or all the time, and it's usually okay unless it's just like a monsoon. Then everybody's having issues. It doesn't matter
right?
what how much you practice under center or shotgun snaps.
Right, right. Yeah. So is there anything else? I don't know. I do think, and I know a lot of coaches may get mad at me for saying this, but when I have a game like that happens, I really put that onus on me that
Mm,
I have
mhm,
not prepared my team for that. I should have caught something earlier. I should have seen something. I should have adjusted, especially at the youth level, because they don't really know football enough. I should have made some kind of move. And even if it's happening in a game because they're out of shape or whatever, that was my fault
mhm.
because I should have had them better prepared. So I'm gonna take that hickey usually if we get popped that way is I just didn't do my job that day and let the players know that. But also, after looking at film, I'm gonna make sure that those weaknesses that did come up that
Mhm.
should not have been there, we're gonna address all of that very quickly
Mhm.
and
Yeah, I
even
mean, I
make
think
player adjustments if needed.
oh, yeah, for sure, and, at the high school level, you get a reporter that calls you. I always if it doesn't go well, I take the blame. I take all the public blame, but then we go to watch film in private. It's accountability for everybody, players, coaches. So in public, I'm always going to say, "Hey, I need to do a better job. We need to
Right,
prepare them better." But then when we get behind closed doors, we look at it. Sometimes the player does need to play better, and sometimes I need to coach better. And
right,
sometimes it's both. So
right.
just hold everybody accountable. Hold coaches, hold players. Do that in private though. Don't do that on social media or to the news
Oh,
outlets
yeah,
because
yeah,
I've
never.
seen
I
that go
yeah, I
really bad.
Yeah, I know the one way that I try as we get our little 20 guys together for practice, I try not to call out a single player, but
Right.
just globally the team is going to have to improve. All the
Mhm.
DNs are going to have to do this, all the tight end. So you make it a kind of a group thing instead of saying, "Hey, Davey, you suck," and you're not.
Right.
You're
And if
you.
the the DNs did it wrong the whole game, that's on us as coaches. That's not on them as
Yes,
players.
yeah, we should have caught that. Yeah, no, exactly. That's the thing. Why I come back is really when that happens. I guess though a lot of guys and maybe John is asking for this and maybe we can try to answer it in a simplified way, but I think he's trying to get down what can we as coaches do in the game when this is occurring? What is
Mhm,
something that I can fall back on that at least I can get through this and not take a total
mhm.
goose egg, right?
My 2 cents would be run the things that you are good at and the things you practice the most. Don't try something don't try something weird or try to install something at halftime. I've seen that go really bad. Just do what you know your kids do. Just do what your kids do the best. And you can live with the result going forward as long as you're doing something they practice a lot and they're good at. Don't try to do something different because it'll only get worse from there. Do the things you have practiced over and over again, and the result will be what it is, and get at it the next week.
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, I totally agree. You've really got to go back to what I call your base offense and base
Hmm.
defense. What you as a core do the best. Stop doing funky blitzes because that's you've probably been doing that and that ain't working
Hmm.
yet. Just
Hmm.
try to stay as much base as possible, right?
Amen. Yes,
And make
absolutely.
and if you see a key or a little adjustment, make that, but you've got to know what it is. Don't just be what I see a lot of guys is that they'll just blitz to blitz.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's a touchdown right there. I've seen that so
Hmm.
many times. Oh, we're just gonna blitz a corner right now. Well, did you see a key or are we just doing it to do it?
Right. You're doing it because you're frustrated, and that's a bad thing. Don't do that.
Yeah, so I think so that frustration that's a good thing because I know that I do this to the players when this is going on, or let's say we fumbled or something's happened. I'll go into the huddle and I say, okay, let's all take a really deep breath. Let's count to three. Now I'll
Hmm.
move on. It didn't happen. You just
Hmm.
let's put it out of our mind. This play's over. And I think as coaches, you have to do this too. And to the players, like, okay, we're going to start over. The game is starting over now. They may be ahead by 7 or 14, but there's enough time to come back. They did it. We can do it. Uh, so, basically try to get them to start over and give them hope that it is, there is an opportunity to come back.
Absolutely. Yes. If there's time on the clock, we got a shot.
But if they hear you looking at another coach and saying, we're done, yeah, that's not going to work
No, it's not. Not at all.
because
Just
they
stay
will hear it.
positive and keep going. Oh yeah, for sure they'll hear it. Absolutely, they will.
Yeah, someone's going to hear it. Um, yeah, I think you're right on the do base, do what you do best. If it's not going your way that day, then get out of it the best you can, and then there's going to be probably a playoff game where you can get some revenge and
Hmm.
be prepared
Absolutely.
and be
Yes.
prepared. But I think the post what is the post op that you want, after
Mhm.
this game has occurred, what are 3 things you're gonna wanna do post to make sure you improve that this doesn't happen again, do you think?
Oh man, just evaluate it and then get back to your fundamentals of practice. Because a lot of times when that happens, what I've seen is we didn't practice real well. We didn't practice our fundamentals real well. Maybe we tried to do too many different new things. So let's just get back to basics. Let's run our base stuff and practice a ton. Let's get rid of any fluff, and then let's focus on us. Let's not worry about really the next team. I mean, we're going to scout for the next team, but let's talk
Right.
about how we can get better. And then you usually have a better outcome the next week, is what I found.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, the post op for me is and I think a lot of coaches will scout the other team, but not scout themselves. So
Yes,
I
absolutely.
think you've got when that happens, you really have to sit down, draw out every offensive defense kind of play, eval exactly what came over, grade out your
Hmm.
players,
Yes.
especially if something's happening, start grade them out. What happened every play, find out the little dirty details, and then eval that, make your adjustments in practice. Because what I see in practice a lot of times is sometimes coaches will only focus on what they like, their favorite drill, and
Hmm.
won't put in what they found in their film.
Right.
You have to practice the weakness part
Hmm.
and not
Amen.
like
Yes.
your two favorite drills. So I
Right.
think that's where you look at your players, you practice what, which is getting back to what you said, fundamentals, because that's going to
Mhm.
call those out, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, don't do hitting drills for an hour and a half because you're frustrated as a coach. Let's work on their
Oh my
fundamentals so
God.
we have a better outcome the next week.
My eighth grade coach was so into meat days to
Oh my
punish the
gosh.
crap out of us. We were a new middle school and we didn't have a very good middle school team going up against, these giants that had been in our district forever. And yeah, we would have these meet days for these losses and it just sucked, I mean,
Yeah, that's not
you
good.
didn't learn anything.
No, you didn't.
Absolutely nothing. So I definitely I think that's a good point. Don't just do a meet day to punish everybody because you're wasting that practice on something
Mhm.
they could learn.
Absolutely.
Because
Yes.
making them
Yes.
throw up is making them hate you. Because I hate that coach.
Right. Yeah, and
He-
they'll hate you the rest of their life, like you said.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think the other thing is you have to talk to the team about finishing the games,
Yes.
and what that means, and that you saw how the team that beat you were up maybe 3 touchdowns and they were able to come back and beat you. You are also capable of doing that, and
Mhm.
especially if you've beaten a couple of teams they've lost to, you can reflect back and say, well, we've beat these teams that beat those guys. We're better than that. We just had this hiccup. So let's move past that and make these adjustments going forward.
Mm.
I think
Absolutely.
I think that's what we would do. Hopefully, John, we've hit your in-game thing. Don't freak out is the first thing, right?
Yeah, don't lose your mind, don't freak out, be calm, get back to basics,
Yeah,
and
because
let's go do it.
I think we've all been through it, and the world did not end. And I've had that happen, and I've gotten deep into the playoffs and won Super Bowls after that. So
Mhm.
I think just because that one game is you had a hiccup, you can't say, "Oh my God, that's my season and my team sucks."
Mm. Absolutely, coach. Coach, you're so wise, man. You have all this wisdom. You do a great job on the podcast.
Well, you bring it out, man. I'm usually very mean.
We're a good team. I feel like we're a good team. I really enjoy doing this weekly. This has been really fun.
Yes, I love it. I look forward to it now, and yeah, so let's keep these up. So, hey, if you guys have a topic you would like us to
Mhm.
do, uh, Coach Zach has a new website, mindofafootballcoach.com, that we set up. You can
Yeah,
hit the
that coach
contact
created.
form over there, or you can hit me up over at coachparker.org's contact form, and we can talk about what you'd like, your topics. So we'd love to have those.
Absolutely, coach. Well, coach, thank you for doing this, and we'll keep doing it. And have a great afternoon.
All right, you too. Oh, remember to play for fun and winning is funner. Ciao.